Do you also enjoy watching those travel vlogs but are struggling to understand how much it costs? I just came back from a week-long trip in Morocco where I tracked every single dollar I spent, from a $60 nightclub to getting sick and missing our departure flight. So whether you're looking for references to help you plan your budget or just want to see another chaotic week in my life, you are at the right place. Hi everyone, if you don't know me already, my name is April and I'm a 24-year-old software engineer living in Seattle. Because I was having trouble to find travel guides and how much to budget online, I thought it would be really fun to film everything that I spent this week in Morocco. Hopefully this will be helpful for you to come up with your own budget. After we landed, my boyfriend and I took 3,400 Moroccan dirham for both of us to spend for the next 6 days. One thing about Moroccan dirham is that it's a controlled currency, so you can't get them before the trip. I usually get cash before I start traveling, so I feel a little bit unprepared doing it this way, but there's a lot of ATMs to do that. Our first spending after we got off the airport was a taxi to this Airbnb. Luckily, this Airbnb works with arranged drivers, so they were waiting for us at the airport holding the sign of the riad. We were able to find him very quickly, directly went onto the car and arrived at the Airbnb without much hassle at all. I do hear though that if you try to grab a taxi driver at the airport or just anywhere in general in Morocco, they could charge you a lot more, so you do have to barter for the price. Our range taxi, it was 190. We just paid 200 for the both of us, which is not too bad. For Marrakesh, we decided to stay at an old riad style Airbnb inside the Medinas, which is the old city. It is on the pricier side, I have to say, especially considering how small the room is. We're staying here for 2 nights and we paid $100 per night for this Airbnb. Even though the room is very small for 2 people and you could hear everything going on in the bathroom, Riad Shabakia's hosts are one of the nicest hosts I've ever been with on Airbnb. After we landed, they greeted us with Moroccan tea and a whole travel brochure on what to do in Marrakesh, and they also warned us about some of the common scams to avoid here and saved our butt later on in the trip. They also cook us breakfast every morning, and I have to say the whole space is just so cute, so it still justifies the slightly expensive price. For the first stop tonight, we're going to the Jemaa el-Fnaa. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. It's a famous square night market, but I will keep you posted. For dinner, we went to the restaurant Argana right next to Jemaa el-Fnaa, and we got an entire view of the square. We got beef tangia, which is Moroccan slow-cooked meat, along with some drinks. Even though it's on the oilier side, it was still one of the best food I've had in Morocco. However, the bill turned out to be 250 dirhams for us, which is definitely more than what we expected for Marrakesh. It is 12:30 right now already. After a quick nap, we're going to this club called Babushka. I heard that it's right next to their YSL or Louis Vuitton, I forgot which one. And it's a fancy club, so I'm excited about it. Even though the entrance ticket came with 1 cocktail, the club still turned out to be too fancy. Anyways, I'm going to let Tipsy April take over. Hey guys, I'm a little bit tipsy right now because we just came back from Babushka. It was actually so much fancier than what I imagined based on the pictures. We taxied to the club, got the tickets, code check, and we got 1 cocktail each, as well as taxi back. All of it cost 1,300 dirham, which is, let me think, which is about $65 per person, which is so much. I guess it's for the experience, so it's fine. Hopefully in the next couple of days we spend a little bit less money because I already feel like this journey is going out of fail at this moment. We were pretty hungover and sleep deprived since we didn't sleep until 4, but I booked the trip in advance to Jardin Majorelle at 11:30 a.m. and I heard that they were pretty strict for entrance time, so we had to go. At the door, I realized that we were not students anymore, so we had to pay the full adult price of 340 dirhams total, which is still pretty pricey for what it is. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, I reach through mysterious ceilings, my holy hope. I look for the things I don't know. After lunch, we walked through the Medinas and went to Bahia Palace. The palace was very pretty, especially on a sunny day, but to be honest, I didn't get to learn anything about the palace or the history of it because there were no signs telling us hardly anything at all about the palace. So I would recommend either going on a guided tour or skip it altogether. Hello, it's 5:30 now. After the Bahia Palace, we came back to the Riad and took a really nice nap. To be honest, we were pretty tired from staying up late. Right now, we're getting ready to this spa called Mythic Oriental Spa for a hammam, which is a Moroccan style body scrub, as well as a massage. However, Kevin is not feeling the best, so he might skip the hammam. We'll see when we get there. Before coming to Morocco, everyone told me that the price here is pretty good, but they are all liars. After babushka last night, I wasn't too surprised when our spa turned out to be $145 for both of us. I did enjoy both the hammam and the massage, but Kevin decided to only do the massage because he was actually starting to feel sick. And this is when things started to get concerning. Kevin started feeling sick at the Bahia Palace. At that point in time, I thought it was just hangovers, but it proved to get much worse after the spa as he started to develop fever symptoms. So I ventured on my own side quest that night as I grabbed some dessert for 45 dirhams and got some dinner for takeout for both of us. The food that we got is Moroccan couscous, which is really similar to quinoa texture-wise. To make things worse, we booked a 3-day-long Sahara desert tour starting tomorrow, taking us from Morocco and dropping us all the way to Fez, where we'll be flying to Barcelona. And that tour departs tomorrow at 7 a.m. We decided that he'll sleep through the night first, and then we'll make a decision by 5 a.m. the next day. In the end, Kevin's fever didn't drop, and we didn't make it to the desert tour this day. Now that the pharmacy is finally open again, I'm on the way to grab him some fever medicine, and we did ask the Airbnb host for a late checkout since there's no one moving in tonight. We also booked another hotel in the new city in Marrakesh. Because the Medina has a lot of dust in the air, it wasn't helping his cough. So I think the plan for today is just to taxi to the new hotel. I might walk around the new city for a little bit, but I think the goal for today is mainly to get my boyfriend recovered so that we can go on the tour tomorrow. We've been using an app called InDrive to book taxis in Morocco. Since cabs aren't metered, InDrive lets you negotiate prices upfront with the drivers, and we find it so much easier than bartering. Just make sure to use the taxi option strictly and avoid the Uber option, as that's actually illegal here and the police enforce it strictly. Once we got to the hotel, it was actually pretty funny because even though I was the one who booked the hotel, the front desk would not address me at all, and instead they saw my boyfriend as the head of the house and they would only talk to him even though he was clearly very sick. Anyways, the hotel was actually really nice because it was so much bigger than our riad in the Medinas. It's actually more like a suite because it has a living room and a bedroom, and it also has a pool and comes with pretty nice views. It's already 9 p.m. but I haven't been doing much because Kevin is having a fever all day. During the times that I'm not eating food, I'm just in the room editing, as you can see over there. With that, it's almost bedtime. I'm gonna go down to the Chinese restaurant again to grab some noodle soup for myself as well as some takeout for Kevin. I'm really hoping that by tomorrow we will be able to hop on the desert tour, as his fever is definitely getting better than yesterday, but I just hope that it gets a lot better by tomorrow. Also, because if we're not going on the desert tour, I feel like something is missing for Morocco. This is so unforeseen at this point. I don't know what's gonna happen for the rest of the video, but I might call it here for today. I'll just tell you how much the dinner turns out to be, but I also think I need a good bath and some sleep too. We decided to get on the tour bus to go to the desert, which was $185 per person. Kevin is still not feeling well, so the poor guy is sleeping on the bus for the whole day. Our first main stop of the day was for lunch, and we shared a sausage tagine for 200 dirhams. During lunch, our tour guide asked us to settle the fee for delaying our tour by a day, which was 856 dirhams total. This was so expensive compared to the tour itself, but I guess that's the price you pay for getting sick. which we'll do an audit at the end of the video. After lunch, we went on our first excursion of the trip. Kevin was still too sick to explore, so I joined the group solo while he rested on the bus. It was definitely not how I imagined this trip would go. We went to the old town Ait Benhaddou, an ancient fortified village built by the Berber people, the indigenous inhabitants of North Africa. This town sits along what used to be the Silk Road and has recently become a filming location for many blockbuster movies, including Indiana Jones and the upcoming Odyssey movie by Christopher Nolan. We also got to see traditional painting techniques using indigo and saffron and paid 20 dirhams per person to our tour guide. We also got taken to a local scarf shop and were told that we need to buy a scarf for the desert. They were 100 dirhams each. We both got one, but I also got a sunglasses for 260 dirhams. It's been a really long day. I've been sleeping on the van almost the whole time, but we finally arrived at our hostel for the night. Now it's time for a room tour. Even though they called it a hostel on the itinerary, it was a pretty good room that actually fits 3 people. The room was a lot bigger than our riad in Marrakesh, and it was included in the tour along with the dinner, so it was definitely a pretty good deal. Day 2 of the Sahara Desert Tour is the busiest day. After leaving the hotel at 7, we briefly stopped by the High Atlas mountain where the people live a nomadic life.
Hello, I can't shake the simplest feeling. We stand on the opposite shore.
We then went to Tinghir, another Berber village in the desert oasis. Luckily, Kevin was feeling a lot better today, so we could explore together this time. Our guide took us through his hometown and showed us their traditional lifestyle, how they survive in the desert, their common values, and the intricate textiles they weave by hand. It was definitely humbling to see how different they live, and honestly, it made me reflect on what actually matters beyond our tech bubble back home. We're finally at the lunch spot. I am so hungry. We do have to pay extra, but I don't know how much it is yet, but I'm so happy that it's all you can eat.
Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. We're all in this. I stand alone.
After a very long drive, we finally arrived at the base camp of the Merzouga Desert. We dropped our big luggages and changed into our desert clothing as the camels take us to our tent. Yeah, I tried really hard putting it on myself, but the guides redid everything for me. So far, the only money we spent today was for lunch, and everything else was included with the tour.
We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few, 'cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds, your hands still tangled up in mine. Feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be, got nowhere.
After sunset, I bought a little bottle to collect sand from the desert for 50 dirhams, and then we finally reached our campsite. Remember how we delayed the tour by a day because Kevin was sick? Well, that created a huge problem because our original plan was for the tour to drop us off at Fez at 6 p.m. on day 5. We'll explore the city for a little bit in the morning and then flight to Barcelona at 3 p.m. However, by delaying everything by a day, it means that we will arrive at Fez at 6 p.m. on day 3, missing our 3 p.m. flight to Barcelona completely. We had two options. The first option is to cancel and rebook the Barcelona flight. But because we originally got the flight through Ryanair, we had a really good deal, and rebooking the flight would cost $200 more per person. The second option is to book a private driver to rush us on a 6-hour journey from the desert all the way to Fez by 3 p.m. that day. In the end, we chose option 2, booking a private driver for 1,300 dirhams total. I know, it was pretty expensive, but it's still way cheaper than rebooking the flights, even though that means we had to skip out on the iconic Sahara sunrise as well as the entire city of Fez. But honestly, at this point, I was also getting a little bit sick too, exhausted from all the chaos and desperately craving for a clean hotel room at a first world country. So as sad as it was to skip the Sahara sunrise and all of Fez, I was also just kind of relieved to get to Barcelona. Our driver didn't really speak much English, so the 5-hour drive was pretty quiet. He took us to an incredibly local breakfast spot, and we also saw some monkeys along the way before our final stretch to the airport. At the end of all of my money spending vlogs, I always end my video with a full budget breakdown with graphs, analyses, and some reflection. In Morocco, our grand total was 75.45 dirhams per person, which is about $140 a day. However, if you exclude all the sickness costs and everything, we are at about $120 per day, and that includes hotel and food and everything. As you can see over here, this is a pie chart breakdown of how much I spent in each category. Sickness cost is $121. I didn't include the extra night of hotel in Marrakesh because I was able to successfully cancel my Airbnb at Fez, so I just counted that towards lodging. This section mainly includes all the medicine as well as the delayed trip and the private shuttle. Overall though, I think nothing really stands out to me in this chart. I think it's a pretty balanced breakdown. And over here you can see this is a bar graph of how much I spent every day. Our highest spending day is on day 4 because that was when we paid the desert tour as well as the late fee. And the following day is the lowest spending day because almost everything that we did on day 5 was included as part of the desert tour. You can also tell from this graph that the cost of everything in Marrakesh is a lot more expensive than the cost of things in the desert. If you further break down from day 1 to day 3, we were in Marrakesh and I spent about $150 every day, whereas for the last 3 days we're mostly in the desert and it averages to be about $130 every day, and it could be a lot cheaper if we don't count the last minute charges from the trip interruption. So that was the full spending breakdown. I also came up with 3 reflection questions. The first question is, how much did the sickness cost us? I already mentioned that a little bit, but it cost us about $121 per person, and it wasn't too crazy because we made it onto the flight to Barcelona on time. I think it would be a lot more expensive to get a new flight because that would also reschedule everything that we had in Barcelona. And speaking of flights, that brings us to the second question. How much did I spend on flights? For this spending vlog, I decided to leave out the flight info because I don't think that information is applicable to many people out there. We flew to Marrakesh from Paris via the Royal Moroccan Airlines, and it cost us about $110 per person. That price already included a checked bag. When we left Morocco, we flew from Fez to Barcelona via Ryanair. The original price for that ticket was really cheap. It was around $23, but because we had a checked bag, we ended up booking the flight for $48 per person. However, at the Fez International Airport, we got charged another $45 for the checked bag because it was overweight, but I decided to leave that part out of the vlog because I think that's part of the flight cost, and I'm not including any flight associated costs in my spending breakdown. The third question is, how much cash is enough? When we first arrived at Morocco, we got 3,400 dirhams total. For the more expensive places, such as the spa, the nightclub, and all the hotels, we paid via our credit card. But for basically everything else, we paid with cash. And in the end, we had about 30 to 50 dirhams left over. So that was a pretty good estimate on how much we ended up spending. If you're traveling to Morocco, most places also accept euros at a 1 to 10 ratio. However, they do not accept US dollars or any other foreign currency. If you think that any of my expenses in this vlog was completely stupid, please let me know in the comment section below. And also, as you could probably already tell, we left Morocco for Barcelona, and that's because for our annual trip this year, we went to Paris first, then Morocco, and then ended the whole trip with Barcelona. So surprise, there's another spending vlog coming out soon, and that one will be about how much I spent in a week in Europe, which includes both Paris and Barcelona. So make sure to subscribe to my channel so that the algorithm can push that video to you when it comes out. And in the meantime, if you're curious about how much I spent in a week in Seattle, I made a video over here, so make sure to check that one out as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye!